We had quite a few decades of some pretty unfortunate circumstances, and for us to have been able to breathe.
Chip and Joanna Gaines's journey has long fascinated millions of people around the world, not simply because of the homes they renovated or the brand they built, but because their story reflects something deeply human, the quiet determination to build a meaningful life together even when circumstances become overwhelming. Their rise from modest beginnings to international recognition through their work in design, television, and entrepreneurship has often been framed as a story of creativity and ambition. Yet beneath the surface of fame and beautifully restored homes lies a deeper narrative about perseverance, emotional resilience, and the fragile balance between success and personal well-being. What makes their story resonate so widely is that, despite their achievements, their lives mirror many of the same struggles that ordinary families face: pressure, uncertainty, health challenges, and the constant need to redefine what truly matters. Over time, their journey has come to represent something greater than entertainment or business success. It has become a reflection of how relationships evolve under pressure and how love matures through seasons of hardship and growth. For many viewers who discovered them through television, Chip and Joanna appeared almost effortlessly successful. Their chemistry felt natural, their humor genuine, and their partnership seemed to flow with an ease that made complicated renovations look simple. Audiences watched them transform neglected houses into warm, welcoming homes, while simultaneously raising a growing family and expanding their Magnolia brand. It was easy to assume that the same effortless harmony shown on screen existed behind the scenes as well. Yet the reality of their lives was far more layered than what television could capture. Behind every project deadline, every episode filmed, and every public appearance were long days of work, constant decision-making, and the emotional responsibility of maintaining a family while building an expanding business empire. The balance between personal life and professional ambition required more discipline and sacrifice than many people realized. During the early years of their journey, long before their names became widely recognized, their lives were defined by uncertainty rather than stability. They were young entrepreneurs trying to figure out how to survive financially while chasing a vision that was still unclear. Chip spent many days working construction jobs, taking on whatever projects he could find to keep income flowing, while Joanna experimented with design ideas and managed a small shop that would eventually evolve into Magnolia Market. Those years were far from glamorous. There were moments when the future seemed uncertain and when every decision carried the weight of financial risk. Yet those struggles played an important role in shaping the mindset that would later guide them through much larger challenges. They learned how to adapt quickly, how to communicate during stressful moments, and how to trust each other's instincts even when the outcome was unclear. Their early marriage was built not on luxury or security, but on shared belief. They believed that their creativity and determination could eventually create opportunities. They believed that if they worked together rather than separately, their strengths would complement one another. Joanna possessed a calm and thoughtful perspective that helped guide design decisions, while Chip brought a bold, energetic confidence that made even risky projects feel possible. That dynamic became the foundation of their partnership, both personally and professionally. Over time, those qualities helped them turn small renovation projects into a recognizable style that blended warmth, practicality, and timeless design. But success did not arrive overnight. It developed slowly through years of trial, mistakes, and continuous effort. When their television show eventually launched and began attracting national attention, their lives changed dramatically. Suddenly, the small family business they had been nurturing was no longer a local enterprise, but a growing brand with a national audience. Cameras followed their renovation projects, audiences connected with their personalities, and viewers became invested not just in the homes they transformed, but also in the story of their partnership. With this new visibility came opportunities that few people could have imagined during their early years of financial uncertainty. Their brand expanded into retail, publishing, product design, and eventually an entire media network dedicated to lifestyle and creativity. Magnolia became more than a business. It became a cultural phenomenon representing comfort, authenticity, and thoughtful living. Yet the expansion of their brand also introduced a new form of pressure that they had never experienced before. Fame has a way of amplifying every aspect of life. Moments that would normally remain private become public conversations, mistakes become headlines, and expectations from fans grow larger with each success. For Chip and Joanna, maintaining their authenticity while managing increasing responsibilities required careful balance. They were not only entrepreneurs, but also parents raising 5 children, public figures whose actions were constantly observed, and creative professionals responsible for delivering consistent results. Each role demanded time, attention, and emotional energy. While their public image remained optimistic and energetic, behind the scenes they were navigating the same complicated realities that many families encounter when careers grow rapidly. As the Magnolia brand expanded, their daily routines became increasingly intense. Filming schedules stretched across long days, business meetings filled the gaps between projects, and public appearances became a regular part of their calendar. Even moments that might have once been considered personal time often blended with professional responsibilities. Yet, despite these demands, they remained committed to preserving a sense of normalcy for their children. Family dinners, school events, and simple everyday rituals remained important parts of their lives. They understood that the success they were building would mean little if it came at the expense of their family's well-being. Maintaining that balance required constant adjustment and intentional choices about where to invest their energy. During this period of rapid growth, Joanna began experiencing subtle signs that her body was under strain. At first, the symptoms seemed small enough to ignore. Occasional discomfort, moments of fatigue, and lingering back pain felt like the natural result of long workdays and physically demanding renovation projects. Like many people who carry heavy responsibilities, she initially assumed that pushing through the discomfort was the best solution. After all, there were deadlines to meet, projects to finish, and a growing audience that expected the same level of enthusiasm and creativity that had always defined her work. Yet, over time, those symptoms began to intensify, gradually transforming from minor inconveniences into persistent signals that something deeper might be wrong. Health challenges often arrive quietly, revealing themselves slowly before suddenly demanding attention. For Joanna, the turning point came when the pain could no longer be dismissed as simple exhaustion. Medical consultations eventually revealed that the issue involved a serious spinal condition that would require surgery and a lengthy period of recovery. The diagnosis brought a sudden pause to the momentum that had defined their lives for years. In an environment where productivity and progress had become routine, the idea of slowing down felt unfamiliar and unsettling. Yet the reality of the situation made it clear that healing would require patience, rest, and a shift in priorities. For Chip, the news carried its own emotional weight. Throughout their relationship, he had often embraced the role of problem solver, someone who could approach challenges with energy and optimism until a solution appeared. Construction projects could be fixed with tools, creative obstacles could be solved through brainstorming, and business setbacks could be addressed through determination. But health struggles are different. They cannot be repaired through effort alone. They require time, care, and acceptance of circumstances that cannot be rushed. Watching Joanna face surgery and recovery forced Chip to confront a kind of vulnerability that no renovation project had ever prepared him for. As Joanna entered the process of treatment and recovery, the rhythm of their household shifted dramatically. Activities that once revolved around business meetings and design decisions now centered on healing and family support. Chip stepped more deeply into caregiving responsibilities, ensuring that Joanna had the space and comfort needed to recover. Tasks that had previously been shared or delegated now required his full attention. At the same time, their children became witnesses to a different dimension of their parents' relationship, one defined not by public success, but by quiet acts of care, patience, and emotional presence. In many ways, this period became a profound turning point in Chip's personal perspective. The energetic personality that audiences had come to love did not disappear, but it became tempered by reflection. Time spent in hospitals and recovery rooms offered moments of stillness that rarely existed during their busiest years. Those quiet hours encouraged him to reconsider how he defined success. For decades, he had associated accomplishment with visible achievements, completed renovations, successful projects, growing businesses. Yet now he began to recognize that some of life's most meaningful victories are invisible to the outside world. Supporting someone you love through vulnerability, offering encouragement during difficult days, and simply being present during moments of uncertainty can carry more significance than any public achievement. Meanwhile, Joanna's recovery required not only physical healing, but also emotional adaptation. For someone accustomed to constant activity and creative expression, the experience of slowing down could feel unfamiliar. Recovery involved patience, trust in medical guidance, and acceptance of temporary limitations. Yet within that slower rhythm, she discovered a different kind of clarity. Time away from the relentless pace of business allowed her to reflect on the deeper motivations behind their work. She began to appreciate the small moments that often become overlooked when life moves too quickly. Quiet conversations with family, the comfort of home, and the reassurance that success is meaningful only when it supports genuine well-being. During these months, the public saw only fragments of their experience. Fans noticed delays in projects or brief pauses in social media activity, but the deeper emotional journey remains largely private. For Chip and Joanna, those unseen moments became some of the most meaningful chapters of their lives. They rediscovered the value of presence rather than productivity, connection rather than constant expansion. The empire they had built remained important, but it no longer defined their sense of identity in the same way. Health,